Everyone, welcome to something a little different. Some of you who actually know me may know that I'm a big movie guy too. And one of my favorite franchises is, of course, Star Wars. I mean, who doesn't like Star Wars? Now, disclaimer. This video is filled with opinions that will probably trigger the majority of Star Wars fans. I'm looking at you, episode 9. Um, so yeah, that's the only warning you're gonna get. So there's 4 tiers. I don't think there is any below average Star Wars movie. Like, I think they're all at least mediocre. And, yeah, I've been a fan of Star Wars for over 6.5 years at this point. I first watched, I watched the first 6, like a month before Episode 7 came out. I was 9, so I was really young. And since then, I've basically been in love with it all. Of course, I've seen all of them. The TV shows are not on the list though, and yes, it will be in order. This won't just be a tier list; it'll be a complete ranking, and I'll of course explain my opinions on them. So, starting off with last place at number 11 is Episode 2: Attack of the Clones. Now, the last 30 minutes is really good. The final, the basically everything in Geonosis is generally pretty good. Um, the clones are cool. The droid army, I guess, is pretty cool as well. There was lots to like in this movie, but there was also a lot that really isn't good. Um, Anakin and Padme's love story is awful. It is really just not good. Oh, I need to edit the crop a little bit. There we go. Um, so yeah, the love story's pretty bad. Anakin's dialogue, especially like the whole I don't like sand thing, was just a little ridiculous, and I didn't like that part. Uh, the duels were all right. The Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda versus Dooku, which is really the only duel in the movie, was all right, but nothing stellar. Um, Jango Fett was okay. Dooku was cool. I like Dooku. I used to not really care about Dooku, but now I think he's pretty cool. Um, it's still a decent movie, basically, despite it being the worst movie. And its score, it has a very good score. One of the better Star Wars scores, actually. Um, uh, I don't really have anything else to say in this movie, but yeah, it's good. Also, Stan Coleman Trevor. Okay. Um, Second in C tier and at number 10 is Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now, if you ask me, in the in 2018, this would probably be at number 1, but as time went on, I liked it a bit less. That said, I still think it's overall okay. Um, the action's good, the score's good, the writing is okay. The plot is a little scattershot, though. Especially the Canto Bite stuff. The Canto Bite thing was just awful and unnecessary. I like where they went with Rey and Kylo's relationship. And also, I think Luke was pretty decent in this as well. My main issue is that they killed Snoke off, which I do not think was a good idea. I'll explain that more once I get to episode 9. Um, um, but generally, I think it was still a fun watch. Still a really enjoyable movie. There's a reason I absolutely loved it when it first came out, even if I don't love it quite as much today. Overall, not bad. Number 9, and the last in C tier, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Um, Jar Jar was insufferable. Little kid Anakin really wasn't that good, but everything else wasn't bad. Everyone hates the prequels for the political stuff, but I think that's one of the best parts of the prequels, honestly. Um, I mean, I'm a big like history and politics buff, so maybe that's why I think that. But still, also, Duel of the Fates is a really like the score of this movie is all right. Like it is one of the weaker Star Wars scores, but Duel of the Fates is just amazing. Um, the duel at the end of the movie is, in my opinion, the second best lightsaber duel in the whole series. Um, Maul in general, Maul is probably my favorite character in the series as well. Although that's more because of the Clone Wars rather than this uh, this movie. Um, yeah. Overall, solid movie. Qui Gon's also one of my favorite Jedi. Um, Obi Wan was a little bit in this movie, but that's fine. He's really good in the next two movies. But overall, he was okay. It was a decent movie, all things considered. It's very fun and bombastic. I'm struggling to find words. This isn't scripted, as you can probably tell. Uh, but yeah. Okay, going into the B tier. Number 8 is Solo. This movie had a troubled production, but I really couldn't tell when I watched it. This is actually really fun. The guy they got to play Han Solo was, in my opinion, really good, and probably as good of a Han Solo as Harrison Ford. Yeah, I know. Sue me. Um, that's the Maul, which was always cool. Um, the Beckett guy was cool. Dryden Voss is okay. Queera was all right. Um, of course, it. Oh yeah, Lando. I liked Lando in this movie too. I wasn't real. I usually like not that into the Lando Calrissian, but I actually really liked him in this movie. He was pretty funny. Um, and also the big monster, and that was in the what's it called the Kessel Run. That was pretty interesting. If you can't tell, that I sound tired. I know it's 1:32 a.m. and I'm recording. Whatever. Um, yeah, I like it. I don't think it deserved to do as bad as it did financially and critically. The fans seem to be okay with it though, which is good. Can't say the same about another one that I really like that we'll get to later. Um, but yeah, Solo's good. I want more anthology films, please. Okay, number 7, Episode 4, A New Hope. Um, now it's the one that started it all, but I do not award extra points for that. That's why I don't absolutely prefer Jurassic Park to any of to like any of the other movies in the series. Like I mean, I prefer it to the other two Jurassic Park movies, but I like the three Jurassic World movies more than it. So my main issue is it was just like it was a technical achievement for the time, but it was much like way lacking compared to any of the other movies in the series when it comes to the visual stuff. Um, the duel most was probably one of the least fun duels in the whole franchise. It was emotionally impactful, but it just wasn't very fun to watch. Um, yeah. Of course, it was still good. The story was excellent, but that's not really the main thing I look for. The main thing I look for when I go into a movie is fun. Um, I don't really have much more to say on A New Hope. Um, yeah. Also, the special edition is better. Don't at me. Okay. Next one is going to trigger you. At number 6 is Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, this is going to piss a lot of people off. I like it, but I don't absolutely love it. I don't really know why, but I guess it's maybe just because I didn't grow up with the original trilogy because I'm not old enough. Like, I was born the year after Episode 3 came out. So, yeah, I obviously couldn't have grown up with the original trilogy. But overall, it was good. The duel in it was decent. The the story was one of the best in the series. The writing was excellent. The score was really good. I just don't think it was quite as fun as the ones I'm ranking higher. With that out of the way, let's move on. We're now in 8th here. At number 5, 4 and 5 are extremely close, but in number 5 I have Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Um, yeah, most fans agree that this is the best of the sequel trilogy. I think it's the second best. You're all going to be extremely triggered when you see where I put The Rise of Skywalker. um, the new characters were mostly pretty good. I like Poe quite a bit. Rey's okay, Finn's okay. Kylo's cool. Um, Han in this movie was excellent, and his death is one of the most emotional scenes in the whole series. The score is really good. Um, the Starkiller base is really cool. It's just Death Star on steroids, but it's a literal planet. Um, most people's issue with this movie is that it's really derivative of A New Hope, but honestly, I'm fine with that. And even then, if you dig deep, it's really not all that derivative. Um, the duel at the end of the movie between Kylo and Finn and then Kylo and Rey is one of my favorites in the series. I would definitely put it in my top 5. Probably number 4. Um, behind two duels in Episode 3 and the one in Phantom Menace. Um, overall, I really like this movie. It was my favorite Star Wars movie when it came out, but it drifted down as new ones came out and as my opinions changed. Yeah. Number 4, just a hair ahead of The Force Awakens, is Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Definitely my favorite of the original trilogy. Um, yeah. Um, really, it just rounded off the original trilogy in a really good way. Vader's Redemption was excellent. The Emperor was really cool. It was one of the best scores in the series. Um, the um, the first 30 minutes was kind of so and so, but after that, I think it got really good, especially with the last half hour. Um, basically, once it got to Endor. It's kind of like that Dominion as well. Once everyone gets to Biosyn, it gets really nice. But yeah, it's kind of like that, but with Endor instead of Biosyn. Um, the duel at the end of the movie, or like near the end, with between Vader and Luke, is also in my top 5. This overall, this is just a really really good movie. I like it a lot. Yeah. Anyways, number 3. Number 3 and number 2 are also extremely close. And number 3 is Rogue One. I really like Rogue One a lot. The new characters are all good. K2SO is my favorite droid in the series, although BB-8's a close second. Um, Krennic is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated villains in the series. Um, and the scene at the end with Vader, on the Vader hallway scene, is my favorite scene in the whole series. In fact, that alone puts it above. That alone puts it in A tier, but all the stuff on top of it is what puts it past Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens for me. Yeah, added compelling new characters, a fun and engaging story, good action, and the best scene in Star Wars history. And you put it all together, and you get a really good anthology film. I remember, I was like, I was 10. This is still when I was young, but I went into the movie expecting it to just be okay, and I came out of it thinking like, wow, that was really good. So yeah. Anyways, just a hair ahead of that is the most triggering movie for most fans, The Rise of Skywalker. I like this movie a lot, and I'm like one of the few people that do. um, Poe in this movie was really good. I think Ray was alright. Finn was kind of lame, but oh well. Lando was good in this movie. I liked Lando in this movie. Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren. This is Kylo Ren's movie, honestly. In terms of just overall character development, this was Kylo Ren's movie. Um, Palpatine was cool. One of my favorite scenes in the series is when he just unleashes a huge wave of lightning into the skies above Exegol and evaporates most of the rebel fleet. That was really cool, and you could literally feel the bass and vibrations in the theater. That was really cool to see in the theaters. Um, yeah, I like this movie a lot. It's very controversial, I know. Y'all are probably gonna dislike the video because I put it this high. I don't care. I'm gonna put it here anyways. No one's changing my mind. And see, you can't just say that, oh, I didn't grow up with the original trilogy, so I'm not. So anyone that did is gonna hate this movie. That's not true because my dad saw episode 4 when he was, I don't know how old, but like before, like younger than 10, and he grew up with the original trilogy, and he ranks it as his third favorite. So yeah, it's, it's I don't get why everyone hates it. Like I see issues. I just don't think they're big enough for me to ignore its like great components. I will say that the main bad thing for it to me is that the score is the worst of the series, but even then I still think it's an okay score. Anyways, enough on the super controversial one and on to my favorite and the only S tier, Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. This movie is everything. It is my it's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, honestly. Jar Jar's barely in this movie, which is nice. Um, the Emperor, well, I guess at this point, for most of the movie, Chancellor Palpatine is excellent. Anakin is excellent, unlike in the previous movie. Obi-Wan is excellent. Padme's excellent. Um, Dooku admittedly doesn't get to do much. He was better in Episode 2, but oh well. Grievous is cool. Yoda was cool. It contains my first and third favorite duels in the series. The the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan at the end of the movie is absolutely amazing. It is the best duel in the series and one of the best action sequences in movie history. Um, this has the best score of the series, the best like soundtrack. Um, the writing is incredibly underrated. Like they're confusing it with the other two sequel or not sequels, prequels. Um, yeah, everything about this movie. I like everything about this movie, which is why it's the only S tier. Uh, so yeah, y'all probably gonna hate this ranking, so I'm not really gonna bother asking what you guys think. Um, Yeah, I guess hope you guys enjoyed, even though you probably didn't. This is just a short bonus episode because I was bored and I wanted to talk about Star Wars, I guess. Um, if you want to know where I'd put the shows, I haven't watched The Bad Batch or Clone Wars Season 7. Um, and I'm gonna omit the Obi-Wan show because it's not over yet. Book of Boba Fett, uh, probably top of B tier. The Mandalorian, middle of A tier. Um, Clone Wars, mid high A tier. And you know what? I'll go ahead and add Obi Wan Kenobi. Obi Wan Kenobi is mid high A tier. Oh, and Rebels. I forgot about Rebels. I watched the first two seasons, but not the last two. But based off the first two seasons, it's mid high B. So yeah, those are my like general Star Wars movie opinions. Like and subscribe if you want, although you're probably not going to want to after seeing where I put The Rise of Skywalker and The Empire Strikes Back compared to each other. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.